What is up, guys? Zero8 back to another video, and today I'm going to be basically doing an overview of what to look for in different positions, basically what stats you want to look for. So I'm going to start with quarterback and work through defense, then go to defense, and a little bit of special teams. So um, in a quarterback, basically speed and strength and agility, acceleration don't really mean a lot unless you're going to be scrambling with your quarterback. Obviously, with the scrambling in Madden Mobile 17 is going to mean a little more if you like to scramble. I don't scramble much, so I go for mainly my throwing stats. But if you do want to run a little bit more, you're going to want that. But they still do fumble a good bit, so you don't really want to go for that too much. But as far as throwing stats, um, short and mid are the most important, and throw power is important too. Deep isn't as important unless you throw a lot of deep balls. I don't really throw that many, so I usually throw around in the mid range. I think short is basically like 10 or less. Mid is basically 10 to 30 around, and then deep is anything 35 plus yards. Um, but the throw power is basically better for those short and mid range throws. Um, to make sure basically that the defenders don't get in the way. And then the accuracy is obviously important. Otherwise, the quarterback will probably throw it out of bounds a lot, and stuff like that. So the awareness is basically important for all positions. It's always good to have awareness. Um, but yeah, quarterback's pretty self-explanatory, just throwing stats. Halfback, it really depends on what your running style is. If you like to run through the middle, um, you're going to want more of a power back that has more strength. So then you'll want basically strength and then trucking stats and stuff like that. Obviously, and again, awareness, you're going to want that. Um, Also, if you're going for more of a speed type back, you're going to want obviously speed and acceleration, and then agility. Um, and then obviously carry is always important to make sure players don't fumble too much. Um, and then agility obviously is going to help you break tackles. Catch is going to be important sometimes. Um, you're running any route basically, and just have like a side route with your halfback. That'll help you just get rid of the ball if you have to. It helps to have decent catch. Um, Le'Veon Bell obviously will have good catch. And that's basically it. Ball carrier vision doesn't mean a ton. Elusiveness obviously is also good for juking, stuff like that. Carry is super important because if you have a halfback that doesn't have very good carry, you're going to fumble a lot. You're going to give the ball much more than you would like to, obviously. So there's some good stats to look into. Fullback, it depends if you're using a fullback or if you're actually using um, just a second halfback. If you're using just a second halfback, then you're just going to go with the same stats basically, but maybe more for a strength for the blocking. But if you're going for a fullback for blocking, you're going to obviously look for impact block and run block and pass block. Awareness will also help, and strength you basically want. Speed, agility, acceleration aren't going to be huge, but there are certain circumstances where you're going to want those, where maybe they'll just barely get there for a block in time, something like that. You're going to want those stats. But basically, you just kind of want impact block is basically just straight on hitting somebody and blocking them. Run block basically blocking against the run, and pass block blocking against the pass. And then awareness obviously is good to help them make the blocks, and then strength obviously is just good to overall help them to not defenders and all that. So basically, all of the offensive linemen are all you're gonna want the same basically. In the center, you might want a little more awareness, but again, awareness is good for blocking, and then strength, and then run block, impact block, pass block. Um, yeah, it's just if you like to run more, obviously go for ones with more run block. If you like to pass more, go for one with more pass block. Agility and speed and acceleration really don't mean anything in offensive linemen. You're rarely going to need them to have speed, but again, strength and then the blocking stats for linemen, it's pretty easy there. And then wide receivers, obviously, the most important are going to be speed, agility, acceleration, catch. Certain circumstances you're going to want jump and elusiveness, but basically speed, obviously, and then agility is going to help you break any, juke any tacklers. Then acceleration is going to help them to get out there faster, obviously. Um, Awareness is going to help, obviously, again. And then catch, you need catch and wide receiver, of course. But basically, what I look for is speed, agility, acceleration, jump, carry. You don't really need carry because your wide receivers aren't going to take too many big hits that they're going to fumble. But jump is important, but also a stat that isn't really in the game. Height is a factor in Madden, where receivers like Herman Moore or Julio Jones, for say, they're taller, so you might want to throw to them for a Hail Mary or something because they have decent jump as well. Whereas a player like Antonio Brown, he's very small, but even though his jump is decent, he's not going to jump up and get some of the Hail Marys that you throw up, where the cornerbacks and safeties will get in the way easier because he's smaller. So he's more, whereas Julio Jones or Herman Moore, you'll be able to throw Hail Marys and just jump balls to them. But height basically isn't really a stat that they part, obviously. But tight ends, they also block a little bit, so go for blocking a little bit. But I don't block a lot with my tight end. Usually he's running routes, so obviously you want speed, strength also if you're blocking or breaking tackles. Agility will help, but it's a bit limited. You won't have super high agility in tight ends, but acceleration will help. It won't be huge, obviously, in tight ends, but the awareness obviously will help, and then the blocking. But the catch usually is good in tight ends. Um, I don't know. Usually their catch stats are just a little bit better. Um, but again, just look for speed, strength, a little bit of agility, acceleration, obviously. Basically the receiver stats, but it'll be more rounded usually in tight ends. Plus the blocking, obviously. So that's the offense. Defense, cornerbacks, and safeties can be interchangeable with the flex spots, but in cornerbacks, you're going to mainly look for man coverage or zone coverage because they're usually going to be the guys that cover one-on-one with the receivers. And then the play recognition, obviously, you're going to want, and then speed and acceleration to help them keep with the receivers. And then tackle, obviously, help them bring them down, but their tackle won't be too good, obviously. And then strength, you don't really need. Awareness, obviously, you need. And then agility will just, if you pick the ball off or something, it'll just help out. So it's just a good thing to have also. So obviously similar, but safeties will normally have a little more speed because they cover in zone coverage. So you're normally going to go for zone in a safety. Tackle, obviously, just in case you need to get someone. And awareness, of course. And then pursuit. Pursuit's something that a lot of people don't really exactly know. Pursuit is going to be basically if someone's running downfield and someone's trying to track them down and they're around midfield and the ball carrier's on the sideline. A player with good pursuit will take a better angle than a player that doesn't have very good pursuit. So he'll run more of a diagonal instead of running exactly to where the player is and then basically running a 90-degree angle, which is going to lose him a lot of. Won't be able to make the tackle. Having that pursuit will really help you make some tackles if a player's making a break downfield. And then obviously speed and agility and all that is basically the same as the cornerback. And then linebackers and middle linebackers, they're literally the same. Um, Speed is important if you're doing any coverage, basically. Whereas, like, a linebacker, I say, like, Ryan Shazier, he has a lot of speed, so he'll be in coverage more than a player that doesn't have very much speed. Obviously, strength will help them blitz the quarterback, which is important. Agility, obviously, is important as well. Acceleration will help them beat some of the slower offensive linemen, and awareness, of course, is important, like in every single player. The man coverage and zone coverage isn't huge because they're normally not going to be in man coverage. Zone coverage is a little more important because normally they'll be in zone coverage. Some of the faster linebackers you can put against the tight end in man, but normally they're going to be in zone if anything. And then obviously pursuit is important. And then tackle, of course, is one of the most important in a linebacker. And then D ends and D tackles are also very similar because they're going to be going for the quarterback on every play, basically. So speed is just something that not a lot of them have a good speed, but if they do, it's just something on top that'll help them. And acceleration is basically the same, but being quick basically will help a lot. And then strength is obviously going to be good because you need to get through that offensive line. Agility, um, it's hard to tell how much they really need agility. It'll help them break the block sometimes. Um, hit power is going to be important to try to stop the halfback. Power moves is going to help them basically get past the line. And tackle is important, obviously, and awareness is important. Um, with D tackles, basically it's the exact same. Um, but that's basically the defense. There's just a little bit with special teams. With kickers, speed, strength, agility, acceleration, that they don't mean nothing. And same with throw power and throw accuracy. You can't throw with your kicker. So it doesn't really make sense why the stats are there when you can't do like a fake field goal pass or run. So don't pay any attention to any of those stats. Doesn't mean anything. Awareness doesn't really mean a lot for kickers. Maybe it does, but it's not really evident what it really does. All you care about is kick power and kick accuracy, of course. Um, and then with kick returners, it's similar with the wide receivers. You want obviously good catch that they're not going to muff anything and give up the ball. And then kick return obviously is a stat, just overall kick returning. You want speed, acceleration, basically, and agility. Those are three I look for. And then awareness, of course, you want awareness, like in any player. And then punters, again, really all you're looking for power and kick accuracy. You can't throw it, you can't run it, or anything like that. So all you care about is kick power and kick accuracy. In punters, kick accuracy is a little less important than in kickers, obviously. Then punt returners are obviously similar to kick returners and stuff. Um, Kick return, obviously, you want that stat, and then speed, agility, acceleration, and then catch. And you also want elusiveness. Ball carrier vision, it's kind of hard to tell what it really does in Madden, but that's about it from what you can look from the cards in the auction house. If you look on the actual card, there's a few stats that you can look at that aren't on it when you look on the auction house. Um, like block shedding, for example. Block shedding basically is just getting rid of the block. Basically, if the D tackle's up against the offensive guard, if they have good block shed, they'll have a better chance of throwing away the offensive lineman and getting through. So that's basically what you want to look for in your players over the overall. Overall isn't as important if you're looking for just getting decent players. The overall obviously is important because a better overall player will generally have better stats, but um, it's not as necessary. So I look for more of stats and stat boosters than the overall. That's why the overall can be a bit deceptive. But that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you later.